the idea is to debunk this new Battlefield 6 leak that popped up on Reddit today. It's pretty fake, so just to clear things up, I'm just going to show you the clip. Now if you see the original post, the poster does say that it's not real, but what is real is apparently the voiceover, the Japanese voice, that's from the trailer, and the HUD looks promising, but it still looks fake to me. But here it is.
Ike Tiger. Ike Tiger 601. Ike Tiger 601, native 29 brief. At no time did we have any of our air assets on that last cycle identify a vulture attack. Posit, the last.
すべてのシステムが動作可能。電化エンジン始動。で起動シーケンスを開始する。9、8、7、6、5、4、3、2、
Roger, are you just thinking single flashing white light?
人類が高速に反映することを可能にする。340化した。パンアジア連合は進行し、すべての人類のために彼らの魂を憐れみます。
So that was the leak that was put on Reddit, so we're just going to recap on that. So we'll replay that and I'll pause it. So in the background here we can see what looks to be like the Japanese Space Center, which we kind of can confirm from other leaks that it's supposed to be in the trailer. I can't find that exact photograph. Some sort of glitch effect in the background. So we can see the rocket launch facility. Now these buildings here, what's interesting is that these buildings here are actually in the leak screenshots, and then the rocket launch thing is also in the screenshots that were leaked. So that's kind of legit, I suppose, but I don't know whether that's a photograph or a render. So here, right, okay, so let's have a good look at that. So we've got the HUD over what looks to be first-person gameplay of somebody using a Chinese Type 95, or I think it's called a QBZ-95 in Battlefield 4. But the model is different on comparison. This doesn't have the decals that Battlefield 4 has, which you cannot remove unless you're a clever modder, I suppose. And then we've got on the bottom left here the mini map, which if you look very closely has lots of little blue dots on it, and then an A and point B, which it looks like it's in rush mode. And the map looks as though it's the shape of the Japanese Space Center in real life, which has possibly been edited and put in there somehow. Underneath the map we can see what looks as though what they call a localization placeholder. So once the localization language files are put into the game, it will automatically read what needs to be put there. So it says ID MIP zoom localization 300, so I presume that's a 300 meter zoom on that map, so that might be the full zoom out on the minimap. And then we've got next to the minimap here at the bottom left, we've got ID platoon general lock slot. So does that mean, if this is somewhat legit, does that mean to say that we're going to have somewhat like a commander role, which is going to be called a general, or something like that, like a general role, which is like the team leader, so to speak. And then we've got 5 slots for squad members. So it's squad tag. So instead of squad tag might be Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, etc. Or it means that each squad leader uses their actual platoon tag or something, has the squad tag or something, but it says ID platoon tag, so that would mean the player's platoon that they're in, which we know is going to be a feature guaranteed because platoons is a thing in Battlefield, and that will definitely continue because there's a framework for platoons that have gone into so much effort to make. And then we've got squad tag, which is, I presume, Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, or whatever you name your squad. Localization, which means the language, I presume. And then 2, so this must be the second squad in the list of all of the squads. And then we've got slot 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 for each member of that. So we've got that, and then at the top center we've got a countdown, which is completely accurate, can I say, to what I'm going to talk about in a second. And at the top, if we look carefully when we look up, so here we've got a black A and a black B, which I presume are 2 taken points on the map already, and then A is now captured and B is not captured, which refers to, again, in the minimap, we can see some spotted enemies on the minimap around that area as well, and all these blue dots I think are friendly players, because if you really look closely you can there are actually 5 green dots on there as well, to represent this squad that this player is apparently in. So there's some sort of legitimacy. So the time is correct, and this is somewhat resembling the Battlefield 1 HUD at the top with the countdown and the rush things, and then on the right we've got a little skull icon with 349. I don't know if that's just a coincidence or this is just a or some leak, but that's how many remaining respawns I suppose there are for the enemy, like there is in any other squad. So we're going to look at the bottom right now. Now this is quite cool because this is on screen you see a Type 95 assault rifle. The line art is correct. It says 13 out of 32 bullets, so that means that the player has already fired 3 bullets, maybe on a burst fire, but it doesn't say anything about burst fire or single shot fire, which is missing off this. So just based on of that, I think this is fake, because you would have an indication of 1 bullet, 3 bullets, or multiple bullets to indicate single shot fire, burst fire, or automatic fire, and there is none of that on there as far as I can see. But the quality of this isn't fantastic, so it might be there, but I can't see. There's a bit clearer. So we can see that the QB95 or the Type 95 is selected because it's highlighted around in white. We know this player is a medic because his second or third option is what looks to be the line art of a G17 pistol. And then we've got the medic, which is, I presume, a medic box or a medic bag. And then the one on the right looks like a syringe gun. Now that's interesting because it's not like a syringe like we've seen in previous titles, and it's not defibrillator pads. It's actually like a gun syringe. So maybe if this is legit, that is a feature in the new game. Now the person that's posted this was called What Is Yours or Is Mine or something, and he has also posted a whole list of features that you can expect in the new Battlefield game, and I'm sure if you go on Reddit you can see it. I will try and put this in the comments after the stream as well, so people can read that directly from the post, because I did take a copy of that on my phone. So I'll copy and paste that over onto my PC and then put it in the comments after. So that's about it. And then, oh yeah, and then at the top right of the screen we've got the backspace symbol, which I presume is going to be opening a submenu for the game, which is a bit like Battlefield 4's battle log option. So I presume that there's going to be some sort of in-game battle log. That was also confirmed in this post as well. And also, looking very, very carefully, it's actually got a dev test number, 6... Let me try and get a decent stop on that. Okay, so it's 672389 QBRU4, and then it's got the player name DTest094. So if we look down at the bottom left, it doesn't say anything about this player itself. Is not highlighted as DTest094. But we know that's somewhat legitimate because of old CTE community test environment builds that were available through previous titles. So the HUD, I've got to say, the HUD completely matches this leak video, this leak screenshot. Though this screenshot that was leaked, this HUD is actually almost exactly what you would expect on this new leak video. So there is some legitimacy to this, and those buildings that are pointed out in that first screenshot at the start of the video are also present on here, including the 2 towers holding the rocket up. So we'll go back to that video. So what you need to do is take a look at this timer for some even more legitimacy to this video. Is the timer is counting down from 20, and then in the background you can hear a Japanese voice. I've already translated this. 5, and then you hear a rocket launch sound, and we see an actual rocket launch. Now, is that from the game? It's pretty cool. So what I did is ran this through translation so many times to try and pick out what this says. And the only thing that I can understand, I'd need somebody that's Japanese to actually understand this. I can understand the English voiceover, which is sort of radio chatter amongst what sounds to be actually British, not American. It sounds like some sort of like British military voice. And then here the Japanese voice says something else, and then we have the countdown. That bit there says all systems nominal, preparing launch sequence, and then the countdown. Okay, so after this launch, there's more Japanese voice. Flash of white light, he says, a flash of white light. Now. So that says something, I think, along the lines of, for all humans and mankind may have mercy on their souls. And something about they will prevail. That's as far as I can get, translate to pick up on. So it's pretty cool leak, and I'm going to put these side by side, and I'll replay this. So if we look at the HUD from the actual leak screenshot, right, and the on the leak screenshot and the video, do you know what? They're freaking identical, pretty much, except this one's got more information like the squad, and at the top it's got the counter and the timer. Now this screenshot on the right that was leaked Now, I've got to say, I've got to give credit to Tom Henderson, because I believe that what he said is possibly completely legit. But this screenshot is not real. It doesn't indicate anything about the objective on the map. And I believe if you're going to build a map with this kind of feature of a rocket in a rocket launch, you're going to have a marker on the minimap indicating it, whether it's an A or a B, or whether it's the name of a flag or a capture point, or it's going to be actually labeled on the map as an actual go-to objective. And also the jet at the top left is being locked, even though it's outside of the lock radius of the HUD for the helicopter. I might be wrong, but in previous Battlefield titles, that jet would not, at that distance, looking away from it, have that lock on. Okay? And also, on the very far right of this, it's got an alt meter. Now, is that 14 or 24? But whatever it is, that helicopter is pretty low, and there's another helicopter there, which kind of looks like a Black Hawk. I don't think they're going to have Black Hawks for some reason. I just don't think Black Hawks is a new enough technology to put into a game that's set in the 2030s or 40s. I don't believe that's possible. And up here we've got another plane, and we've got another plane. I cannot decide whether this, I mean, it looks very, very good, but I can't decide whether this is real or not. But as for this video that was put on Reddit, I think this is fake. It's a first person view which has movement as clunky as Battlefield 4. The vegetation and the ground textures also look like Battlefield 4, and that HUD is missing some vital important information for a first person soldier. So you would have to have a bullet, like I said earlier, you've got to specify whether this rifle is in auto, semi or burst mode, and there is no indication on this HUD to what that rifle is doing. Also, I need to point this out, when you move, the crosshair moves. The crosshair expands depending on what that resolution of fire is going to be. If you stop and fire, it does not do that. That crosshair is static look. There is no bouncing on that crosshair, which would definitely happen in a Battlefield game. So that HUD is fake. That video is fake. There's nothing in that video that is legit except for the actual house style and the format of that HUD. But there isn't, so we can compare them. Yeah, it looks good, but I mean, if you look at the glow on the mini-map there on that left side, it's just not. That's just messy. That's just what looks to me like somebody's created in Photoshop and put as a transparent overlay onto some poorly grabbed footage. So what does interest me about this video, and the only thing that interests me about this video, is the soundtrack. We have got some sort of Battlefield theme going on, so I'll just play through that. So that's legit, fair enough. That there is, regardless, the Japanese Space Center. Fair enough, but it could be just a photograph that's been edited. Some smoke effects over it, big deal. The counter, yep, it matches the actual Japanese countdown and the rocket launch. Now, this little animation on the screen, we've got the numbers 729815801. I mean, they mean jack shit, really. Angle 10. I mean, that might be the HUD for the rocket. It's got fuel, 36,690 what? Litres? Is that how much fuel goes into a rocket? I would have said it was more than that. unless it's gallons. I don't know. CSL, I don't know what that is. I mean, is that a legit screen from the new Battlefield, which is a HUD for the rocket or something? Who knows? But I mean, the animation is pretty good. I mean, it's going to take somebody some effort to make that. So I'm going to leave this video short and sweet. Leave it at that. I've put all the information in. You can see, you know, both HUDs side by side. Fair enough. It has some official, legitimate house style to the colouring, the shading, except for the glow around that mini-map. But there is a glow on this mini-map, to be fair. And because this is a darker background, but we can also see lots of debris being swept up by a tornado in the background there. We don't see that in this video, so I'm going to keep that short and sweet, like I said, end the stream, and I'll put this as a legit video too, for people to watch back and comment on below.